now, Slam Poetry with Fuuka Yamagishi.
It's motherfucking Fuuka Friday! Guys, I think I figured it out! Flip a dip. This sure is lit Nevins! Is that the Grim Reaper? What? Is this a gun?
She is the navigator of seas, and you were able to start her social link when you have the current rank of badass, which is honestly kind of badass. But who really is Fuuka? And why is she S tier?
Well, Fuuka is a shy and timid girl who was thought to be a very ill person. Though this was not the case. She had a rough home life growing up, with her parents being the only ones in their respective families not being doctors. This gave them an inferiority complex, causing them to be hard on Fuuka. They only cared about her doing the best with her grades, nothing else. They didn't really want to have anything to do with the rest of her life. They just wanted her to get good grades so that they can prove to themselves that they were good parents. This caused so many emotions to fluster up inside her. She thought that she was worthless. Nothing that she would ever be doing would ever be good enough for her parents. They always wanted more out of her, and no matter how hard she tried to meet their expectations, it was never enough. It was a lot for her to handle, but that was not all. On top of this, Fuuka was not the most popular girl in school. In fact, she was a target for bullying. Natsuki and the rest of her posse thought that she was weird, so they wanted to give her a hard time. And because of this, they teased her constantly. They would not leave her alone. In fact, they all found joy from picking on her all the time. It was like some sick game for all of them to play, where Fuuka was the only loser. This broke her inside. School was supposed to be the one place that she could get away from her parents, a place where she could thrive and do the things that she wanted to do, but instead it was the complete opposite. These people, who don't even try to get to know Fuuka on a better level, destroyed what little self-confidence she had, making her just a closed-off shell of her former self. She tried to ask them to stop, but it didn't matter to all of her detractors. Her parents still pressured her, and Natsuki and her friends still bullied and berated her, until the point where they locked her inside the gym. And we all know the rest about how she was in Tartarus, and then became the navigator for seas as soon as they found her. And when she awakened to her persona, she was happy. She now had a purpose. She was able to do something that no one else could do, and she was going to be part of the team that was going to be saving the world!
That's a pretty big deal if you ask me.
Although, she still didn't feel that she was good enough. Well, she was their navigator, and that was a huge help to SEAS as a whole. There was still something inside of her that wanted to help people more. This is where her social link comes into play. During her social link, Fuuka wanted to start making box lunches for Makoto. Stick with me on this one. And Makoto agreed to be her taste tester, because who could say no to free food? So he tried it, and it wasn't that great. Some would say it's straight up ass cheeks, but Makoto tried to lie to her to make her feel better about it. However, she could see right through his lie. She could tell that it wasn't very good by how ill he looked just after one bite. Even a kitty cat wouldn't eat it, and ran away in fear from the smell of her cooking. Fuuka was disheartened by this. She was trying to be a better help to SEAS. Sure, she was a huge help in battle, but she wanted to do so much more. She didn't think that she had any other redeeming qualities, and she wanted to be someone that they could rely on outside of battle. The only thing that she was kind of good at in her eyes was just tinkering with machines. But she didn't see that as anything special. I mean, it was just a hobby that she picked up from her dad because he always liked fixing machines, and she found it fascinating. Although she didn't think that it would help everyone, because if they had technical needs, they could just go to the Koricho group. And she was super embarrassed about it because it was not very feminine, which was why she wanted to take up the culinary arts. She thought that it would be nice for everyone to have a home-cooked meal every once in a while, because there were not that many opportunities for them to have them because they were living in the dorms. So she wanted to provide that to them. However, right now her cooking was worse than Mystery Food X, and she wanted to improve, but she thought that it was hopeless for her, and she felt like everything was going horribly wrong when she tried. Maybe this just wasn't for her. But the Giga-chan Makoto Yuki couldn't let that happen. So he continued to encourage her to keep on trying cooking, but to just start with the basics. And she did just that, making some bomb rice balls in the process, and hanging out with Makoto started to make her think more positively about the world and herself. and she realized something. Fuuka had always been thinking negatively about everything because she always dwelled on what the future could hold. No matter how much she prepared, she'll never know what'll happen. So the only thing that she could do is to believe. Believe that everything will work out. Believe that she was helping. Believe that she was important to Cease. And believe that she had the right to exist. All she had to do was to think positively, although she wasn't sure if she could do that. But with the handsome Makoto Yuki by her side, she thinks that she'll be fine, and that she'll be able to overcome any adversary that came her way.
And that was Fuuka's social link, and honestly, I thought it was just like a nice dessert to go with Fuuka's character growth in the main story, because she was just kind of like a static character in the original game. Wait, stop, Fuuka Friday fans! Hear me out! Hear me out! Hear me out!
I still love Fuuka, and I think that she's an amazing waifu, and I don't think that she's a completely static character. Far from it. She just didn't go through as much trauma as some of the other characters. Like Akiko held his best friend while he was dying. Mitsuru watched her father die right in front of her eyes. And Junpei literally died and got brought back to life, only for his big titty goth GF to die right in front of him.
Not trying to say that making your character go through a traumatic death makes it like a 10 out of 10 IGN review score character, but I mean, the other scars that all the other characters go through in their stories were kind of stronger than Fuuka's, so I mean, I don't know. I still like Fuuka.
However, I believe Fuuka's problems are still valid, and I find them to be the most relatable out of any of the cast of Persona 3. Fuuka is a straight-up people pleaser. Even when she uses her persona, she puts everyone's priorities and happiness above hers. She didn't think it was something important. She took on the role of being Cease's navigator because she thought that it would help. She dug up more information on the Kirijo group in the Abyss of Time because she thought that it would help. Even her whole goddamn social link is about her learning a skill to become even more helpful to Cease.
It's something that I did growing up, trying to please my mom by getting good grades, or making all my friends laugh, or taking up the arts just to, just have some kind of spotlight and make people laugh and cry and do all those emotions and shit.
And I went on a similar path of self-discovery that Fuuka did during this game while I was growing up, because she started to learn that she did not have to please everybody. Rather, it was something that she wanted to do. She wants to help because she likes to see everyone with a smile. That is what makes her happy. Whether it's using her persona's abilities, cooking for the one she loves, or fixing machines for the one she cares about, it gives her delight.
Kinda like how the funny YouTube guy makes funny YouTube videos to make all you guys laugh, and it kinda just fills him up with bliss. But who could that be?
Fuuka is a kind soul that just wants to help everyone around her. She is sweet, amazing, and overall just a dope navigator. Pretty sick character. 7.9 out of 10.
Also, why does Fuuka's hair look like Baja Blast, the succulent nectar of the gods? God, it just looks so good. It makes me want to suck it down so succulently. 儚くたゆたぶ世界を君の手で守ってから